Every stand-up comic has to have a first time on stage where they make the transition from being funny in the moment around friends and family to being funny on demand in front of strangers. This is one of my favorite first time on stage stories of Henny Youngman. Henny, the king of the one-liners, Youngman. Henny, take my wife, please, Youngman. This story happens in 1921. Henny Youngman is 16. He knows he's funny, but he's got to find out for sure. So he has to go to the amateur contest in the burlesque and vaudeville theaters back then, the open mics of that day. The promoter in this case was Solly Shore, king of the Brooklyn burlesque halls. So he's on the sidewalk. Henny finds him, accosts him, says, I want to do one of your amateur nights. Solly says, do your act. Henny starts doing all the jokes he can remember. Solly's got his nose in a racing for him, not really paying attention. Finishes his little sidewalk audition. The promoter figures he's bad enough to be in one of these shows. He says, how about October 10th? Henny says, sure. The promoter says, you're not one of those religious nuts, are you? Henny says, nah. Henny knows he's in trouble because October 10th is Yom Kippur, the holiest of holidays. How's he going to go do a vaudeville show during the services? So here's his plan. There'll be a break in the services. Henny will run over to the nearby neighborhood theater, do his act, run back. His dad will never know. He makes the mistake as he's running out, telling his friends he's going over to go to this vaudeville show, perform for the first time. Of course, his friends are big mouth. The old man comes out. Where's Henny? The kids, they spill the beans. The old man runs out in the street, grabs a local Irish cop, Officer Feeney, and they go off for the vaudeville theater. Henny has just started his act. It's a stolen act. He says, you know, folks, I've been known to talk for hours without saying a word. I'd tell you more about myself, but I'm afraid there might be a police officer in the crowd. Almost on cue, Officer Feeney comes running out on the stage, followed by Mr. Youngman. The officer's yelling, what are you, nuts, kid? What's wrong with you? Christ's sake, don't you know it's Yontif? Mr. Youngman's yelling, Meshuggah, he's Meshuggah. Officer Feeney grabs Henny by the ear and drags him off the stage, followed by Mr. Youngman. The crowd's going crazy. They think this is part of the act. A couple days later, Henny sees the promoter on the street, tries to get his $3. The promoter says, nah, kid, you didn't do your act. No play, no pay. It took Henny 5 more years before he tried stand-up again.